its resource. If lucky, they can get it at least once a week. Electricity supply is even more erratic. Years of neglect clearly visible. Garbage piles up, posing a health threat to the little ones.
We have seen a free fall in terms of service provision. Right now, you can see a lot of people have to look for water and unprotected sources. So things have not been okay, basically.
On the eve of the election, it's business as usual on Harare's streets. The last elections were marred by fear and violence, but this time around, the nation is surprisingly calm. But some are apprehensive.
People must unite it because, it's like before, history repeats itself. Like SAPU and ZANU before, they united and gave peace to the peace that we have now. So after elections, people must unite it into, we need peace.
President Robert Mugabe has been at the helm for 33 years and wants another term. His rival, Prime Minister Morgan Tsvangirai, is hoping to be third time lucky. They hope they have done enough to garner the 50+1 needed to lead Zimbabwe. But whoever wins, their job is cut out for them.
I'm voting for President Robert Gabriel Mugabe as I'm dressing for his preaching peace, and I'm voting him for indigenization empowerment.
I'm voting for President Tsvangirai.
Why?
Because we need jobs. There are many youth there. We are not working, staying in homes. So it's problem in the country.
Zimbabweans are pinning their hopes on tomorrow's polls, hoping it's the first step out of a decade of desperation for some. Mahlatsi Gallens, SABC News, Harare, Zimbabwe.
For the latest on the Zimbabwe elections, we now cross live to our correspondent Shinga Nyoka in Harare. A very good evening to you, Shinga, and thank you for joining us. It seems an about turn for President Robert Mugabe. Initially, he didn't want to hear anything about a coalition government, but now saying that if his win is not decisive, he's willing to talk. What do you make of that?
You're right, Vabakshni. Previously, President Robert Mugabe has said that the coalition was a beast, it was an animal and something that needed to be put to death. And Morgan Tsvangirai has also, on his part, said that he also didn't want a coalition. But I think this really shows that there's a recognition that this election might actually not be as conclusive as either party wants to be. Both of them have predicted an outright victory, but really I think from this comments it's clear that he's trying to placate the people in Zimbabwe, trying to calm them down and to assure that even if the win is not conclusive, that he will accept another term of office, sharing power with the Movement for Democratic Change.
Shingai, Morgan Tsvangirai is already alleging vote rigging, saying that he wants the ZEC to resign. And has he in any way substantiated these claims?
It's been a very difficult issue to substantiate, mainly because of the fact that the voters' roll that will be used in the upcoming elections has not been released. As we speak, Secretary General of the MDC, Tendai Biti, has said that they will lodge a court application to contest the fact that despite the fact that there's a legal requirement that the Registrar General and the Electoral Commission release this voters' roll in reasonable time to allow them to analyze it and scrutinize it and point out any inconsistencies, that this in fact hasn't happened. And so clearly people have not been able to prove some of the issues that have been raised.
Coming on the back of that, what's been the word from observers?
The word from observers in terms of this pre-election assessment seems to be quite muted. They have pointed out the fact they're concerned about the voter registration process, about many of the thousands of people who had wanted to participate in this election, especially aliens, will not have a chance to vote. They've also expressed concerns about the voters' roll. But the overall impression really is that this particular election is more peaceful than the election in 2005. And that regardless of the concerns that have been expressed, that there's still a chance from an administrative point of view that this election could be free and fair.
Shinga, you're on the ground talking to ordinary Zimbabweans. What's the mood like going into this election?
The mood, I think, as Mahlatsia pointed out in her piece, there is, if you walk around the cities, there really is no indication that the country is excited about going to the elections. Apart from the political supporters from the Movement for Democratic Change and ZANU-PF, it really appears that people just await the fate. All they want to do is to vote in peace and then wait to see what happens afterwards.
Thank you very much for your time and insight. That was our reporter from Harare, Zimbabwe, Shinga Inyoka. Now, with just a few hours before the Zimbabwean election starts on Twitter, it's more questions than answers. Let's take a look. William tweeting, I hope this election is peaceful and transparent. So many Zimbabweans are desperate for a brighter future. Let the truth prevail. Dell saying, I see a prosperous Zimbabwe in the next few years. Development in all areas of life, infrastructure, economy, politics, social life, etc. Johnny saying, will the champ defend its title, or will challenger finally deliver that killer punch to knock him down and clinch the title? Ayanda asking, we need to be honest. What's the use of holding presidential elections in Zimbabwe where we all know those votes will be rigged?